Hello everyone. Today video is about creating independent Dynamixel network for use with the CM-550 and RPi4B. So I'm going to cover why there's a need for an independent Dynamixel network to be controlled by a separate controller, and then I'm going to show one possible solution using the cabling system, the TTL 3-pin cabling system that come with the CM-550. So I've been working on my second engineering book. I hope it will be published by the end of 2021. So this is one of the robot being used. It's Pentil Commando. It has Pi camera. It's a Pentil system using ID5 and 6 here and other sensors. And of course you can see these are RPi4B and CM-550. Then CM-550 control ID 1, 2, 3, 4 for the wheels. So in the previous control scheme I've been using is pretty much hierarchical. So I use the RPi4B pretty much is a main brain. It's brain. It takes care of the camera, and then it tells CM-550 what to do with its servo and sensor. And then the CM-550 sometimes send back data from its sensor to the desktop, acting as a data hub. Now the new scheme I want to use is a little bit different because I want to get more performance out of the Pentil platform, the Pi camera. I want to be able to control ID5 and 6 directly by the RPi4B, and I plan to use DXL SDK. So that means I can control them at a much higher communication speed at 1 megabit per second, and I can use that through the U2D2. And because in my scheme I share a single LiPo battery with 12 to 5 volt converter here, I can hook up this system without destroying the RPi4B. And when I test it though, I found this problem, that these actuators cannot serve two masters with the same Dynamixel network. And what it does, although it's working, but sometimes the Dynamixel cannot respond to only one of them. So there's lots of network error coming through the system. So I figured out that I have to keep on these two Dynamixel as separate sub networks, shall we say, or separate independent Dynamixel network for this to be, for my scheme, for the new control scheme to work. So my solution it turned out to be very simple by essentially rewiring the 3-pin DXL cable that come with the CM-50 or the engineering system with anything. So first you have to make sure that you're using the 3-pin cable very carefully. Now the CM-550, you need to hook ID 3, 4, 4 or anything that you want to be connected to CM-550 like a ring here. Okay, so remember these 3 pin, one for ground, one for VDD, and one for data. So they form their own power and communication scheme. You can see it physically separated here with the CM-550. On the RPi4B, so you connect USB cable to U2D2, and you still use the same, the regular 3-pin DXL cable. Connect to 6 and connect to 5. But in the last 3-pin cable that connect back to the CM-550, because you need it to power ID5 and 6, very simple, you have to make sure to find the data line, cut it, and make sure you didn't cut the ground wire, okay? So therefore with this scheme here, the CM-550 is powering the actuator, the servo, but the RPi4B actually controlling, or through the communication line, controlling 5 and 6. And this network, Dynamixel network, is in a way, communication-wise, isolated from the network that is used by the CM-550. But when you do that, make sure that from now on, you need to turn on the CM-550 first before you're turning on the RPi4B. Okay? If not, the RPi4B may be don't like it, or it may be destroyed. Okay. So once you've done that, you can do a quick test using Manager and Dynamixel widget. Okay. So if you use Manager, you're going to see that Manager only see 1, 2, 3, 4 now. And the thing is, if manager can see only 1, 2, 3, 4, it means that all your task program or a microPython program will only see ID 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? And then you also can start Dynamixel widget using the U2D2. You find out that Dynamixel widget only see 5 and 6, like here. So now that we see that, oh yeah, I have a separate Dynamixel network for CM-550, and I have separate Dynamixel network for RPi4B, which is accomplished the goal. Now, some of you though think, well, how about coordination? Right now, these guys are kind of acting on their own, RPi4B and CM-550 acting on their own. But obviously, this is the same robot, so they need to somehow coordinate with each other. Luckily, RPi4B have plenty of USB port, and the CM-550 still have another USB port we haven't discussed yet. And so, they can communicate with each other using remote control packet via that USB OTG cable here. And that would be under TTI ACM0 as far as the Pi concerned. And remember, Pi using TTI USB 0 for the U2D2 connection.